Boys, we're talking about the new exotic hand cannon, Malfeasance. Yes, the quest is released this week. In the description below will be the quest steps, as well as a whole guide from Houndish that you can check out. But first up, let's talk about Malfeasance. Because the first thing that I thought of was, how does this 180 round per minute hand cannon compare against some of our great hand cannons in this game? Things like Trust, Luna's Howl, Not Forgotten, all of which are excellent hand cannons in PvP and in PvE. Now first up, let's talk about what's happening here intrinsically on this hand cannon. Explosive Shadow. It shoots tainted slugs that burrow into the enemy. Stacking enough slugs causes them all to explode. Matter of fact, when we slow things down here, you actually have to land 5 shots to then see that explosion. Now that explosion actually consists of 5 mini damage numbers popping up, which is all like mini explosions. Now for PvP, that's about 20 damage per mini explosion, so a total damage of 100. Now if you want to find your damage values in terms of explosions, those little mini explosions, is about 36% of your crit shot damage. And this is in PvE and in PvP. Somewhere around that area, like 35, 36%. Now it also comes with the magazine perk Extended Mag. One thing I can say that's really good about this hand cannon, it's got a mag size here of 15, which is incredible, especially on 180s. I love Trust. I think it's one of the best hand cannons in the game, but I am constantly having to reload. Now the trait here is Taken Predator, similar to what we had with Wishender, bonus damage against taken enemies and Gambit invaders. This is when things got interesting. So optimal damage that it does to Gambit invaders is actually 77 per crit and 52 per body. Now again, this is only for people that are invading you, as in you're not going to be able to invade and wipe the whole team with Malfeasance, because it still hits the same amount that any 180 will hit. This only activates against invaders and other Taken, which makes sense lore-wise. I mean, you're essentially doing what Taken enemies do. So I guess technically you're killing Taken, right? So yeah, that's why it's doing that extra damage. But let's get back to those damage values. 77 per crit and 52 per body. Malfeasance essentially goes from being a 2 crit, 2 body shot hand cannon that most 180s are outside of Luna's Howl, Not Forgotten. It is now a deadly 3 tap. Now most invaders have an overshield of some sort, so there's a good chance it's still going to require 3 crits. If 3 crits can actually take them out. I don't know. I wasn't really counting. All I know is Malfeasance is a monster in terms of dealing with invaders. Final trait is just something I'm going to bring up because it is noticeable. Heavy Grip. This grip is weighted for recoil control. It increases stability, as you can see there from the stat, but decreases that handling speed, which is probably the most noticeable thing about this hand cannon. I like fast handling 180s. That's my thing, man. I want to be able to jump in and out of my sights quickly. Matter of fact, the goal that I have when using a 180 hand cannon is to almost stock it out the best way I can to make it feel like a 150. 150s are snappy, they're quick, they've also got that lightweight frame going on. Malfeasance feels slow, which takes us to our conclusion of this exotic. I like it for what its purpose is. Dealing that extra bit of damage to Taken, stacking on those mini explosions, wrecking invaders. As a PvP weapon, considering all of the other 180s we've picked up, Malfeasance is still good, but man, does it have some competition. Like, you couldn't pick a harder lineup to go against. Trust is such a good hand cannon. I complained about its reload. Yes, you might have to reload after every gunfight, but let me just say this, 9 times out of 10, you will win those gunfights. And I've seen many people rock Trust and beat out Luna's Howl. Those to me have still been neck and neck. And Not Forgotten is definitely in the mix. What I'm trying to say is there's a lot of 180s there, guys, that are really, really good. Malfeasance has 2 main things going against it. Number 1, it's an exotic. That's a big one. But number 2, which is just as big, is the fact that we can't apply a mod to it. That one is a killer to me, because I think this weapon could be a lot better if I could put a freehand grip mod on it, considering it takes so long for me to aim down sights. That's what I would rock with this hand cannon. And even for my people that want to get this hand cannon for Gambit, which I completely say is okay to do, you will have to give up exotics elsewhere, specifically 1000 Voices and Sleeper, both of which are very good in Gambit. So this one is a tough one for me, guys. I want to prop it up, but for me personally, I think I'm gonna wait for a catalyst to come out to make this a monster. That's kind of what I'm banking on, guys. Now, as far as regular PvE goes, especially if you're dealing with a bunch of Taken, the raid itself, sure, give it a go, man. I definitely like Malfeasance a lot more than Wishender so far. We reviewed Wishender last night. I was very much let down by its damage values. Hopefully it's bugged. Whatever the case, Malfeasance impressed me a lot more than that exotic. And having the mag size that it has, it's definitely designed and catered to be a more dominant PvE weapon. So guys, get your hands on it, especially for when the catalyst eventually comes out for this thing, because that to me is going to be the next seasonal update. It's like all of these new exotics are going to get catalysts. And I'm not saying Bungie's taking my suggestions, but if I could pick a catalyst on this thing, I would honestly choose something like activate those mini explosions after 3 shots instead of 5. Just a suggestion, but I think it'd be pretty nasty. Hit somebody with 3 body shots in Crucible just to let the mini explosions finish them off. Oh, that's disgusting. Well guys, that is my review for Malfeasance. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about this hand cannon. You can't deny it looks good. Still haven't figured out how the hell it even shoots. Looks a little hollow up in there. Well guys, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.